Hello everybody, welcome to Homestead Where You Are. My name is Janet and today we are making blueberry jam. Hey guys, and welcome to Homestead Where You Are. My name is Janet, and today I'm going to be juicing some blueberries. It's not a lot. I don't expect to get a whole lot of juice. I just want enough to do a batch of jelly. I have one more bag of these in the freezer that I'm going to save to do some jam. But you'll find that anytime I have whole fruit that is frozen, this is how I do it. These were gifted to me by my sister-in-law. All right, let's get this started. All right, now we just wait for it to start producing some juice. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I juiced some blueberries, and then I took part of them and put them in a jar with some of the juice, and I processed it just so that it would last until I was ready to get to it. And today is that day. So, again, I am going to be using the Pamona Pectin. It's what I use 99% of the time. And so I'm going to start with, it calls for 4 cups of mashed berries. I'm using basically 4 cups of the berries with the juice. I'm okay if mine is a little more juicy. All right, so here's our 4 cups. All right, and to this we're going to add 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Now I just use the lemon juice that I got off of my trees. I know they tell you to use the store-bought bottle, but this is what I always use. That's a little shy. Boy, I made a mess with that. All right, and then I need 2 teaspoons of calcium water. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Pamona's pectin works off of calcium instead of sugar, which is why you are able to use less sugar if you desire than if you were to use the conventional Sure gel and stuff like that. So, all right, so those 3 ingredients go in here together, and I'm going to set this over here on the stove while I get the other part ready. Okay, so in this bowl, now the recipe says,
well, what are you in the house, dude?
I know he keeps trying to go in every time I open the door. And so the recipe says that you can use 3/4 cup to 2 cups in the initial part of this. I am going to use the full 2 cups. Now after you get this mixed into your jam, get it mixed thoroughly and boiled for a minute or 2, you can at that point check it to see if it's sweet enough for you. If you need to add more sugar, you can. But initially you start with what they tell you to start with. So then I need 2 teaspoons of my pectin. And then you mix this thoroughly. You want to make sure all of that pectin is mixed into the sugar very well. Keeps it from clumping when you put it in the mixture, and just makes it dissolve better. Alright, so now I'm going to set that aside. Okay, so I already have my jars sitting in the water bath canner getting heated up. Actually, I can probably turn that down a little bit right now. Okay, but I'm going to get the heat going on my jam. And we are going to bring that up to a boil. I switched to this whisk because I realized the other one was just making, it was too noisy for the videos. Now I'm just hoping, because this one's quite a bit shorter, hoping it won't be too hot. Anyway, we're going to bring this to a boil, and then we'll go on to the next step. You mash these up a little bit if you want to, or you can leave them as whole as you want to, just a matter of preference. I'm not really going to mash them up too much. Alright, now that it has come to a boil, we are going to add our sugar pectin. We are going to add our sugar pectin mixture. And we're going to let that boil again for about 1 to 2 minutes. And I think that's plenty sweet for us. Alright, that has come to a boil, so I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. Stirring in between. Part of the reason that I use the Pamona's Pectin, and I've mentioned it before, is the sugar thing. If I had been doing this with the Sure Gel recipe, I believe it calls for 6 cups of sugar, 5 or 6, I can't remember. And I'm doing this one with 2 cups, so it's quite a bit of difference. Alright, that is our 2 minutes. So I'm going to turn this burner off. Alright, I'm going to bring this over to my countertop. Alright, now we're going to get some of our jars. Alright, and I have my lids inside this bowl. So I'm going to pour some of this hot water in there. I mentioned it before, I don't boil them anymore, but I do like to get them nice and hot. Alright. I'm sure that's going to be hot. Just set it to the side. Alright, now we're going to take our mixture and fill the jars. And I'm going to take these to about somewhere between 1/2 inch and 1 inch of headspace. And I'm going to fill these to about 1 inch of headspace. And if you look at these jars, the bottom of the lip there is 1 inch. And you can use the little handy dandy measuring thing or whatever, but we know that that level is 1 inch, so that's what we're going with. Alright, so now we're going to wipe our rims really well. Alright, put our lids on. And now we're going to put our rings on. Alright, now I'm keeping my extra jars in here to take up the space. Alright, now we're going to set these down in our canner. Alright, I'm going to put the lid on this. And turn it up just a touch because I don't need much more than that. Bring this to a boil, and when it comes to boil, I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Alright, I can hear the water boiling now. So I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes. Alright, so this has been going for 20 minutes. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, now I know I haven't mentioned this before in a previous video, but if you're doing this in your kitchen, in your house, you're going to want to let this sit for a little bit because the jars are going to be very, very hot. If you take them out where you have an air conditioner going or a cool draft or something like that that's going to hit the jars, then it can shock them and cause them to break. But again, I am in my outdoor kitchen. It's 100 degrees today, a little over I think. So it's plenty warm out here. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and take mine out and get them sitting. Alright, that's it for making our blueberry jam. Let's see if I can get one of these where you can see it at all. It's a little thin right at the moment, but it will thicken up. Right, now I'm just going to let those sit overnight, and in the morning I will take the rings off and put them in my pantry. So that's it. As always, I thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I hope I see you on the next one.